We'll start with the prayers. Vasudeva sutam devam kamsa chanuramardhanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagatgurum. We are doing the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, titled Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. This is a part of the Jnana Yoga section of the Bhagavad Gita. The 13th, 14th, and 15th, three main chapters, they teach us how to look at our own self with a new vision. We have finished the 13th chapter, which talked about Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti means nature. This body consists of the five elements. And the Jiva is the Purusha, who is in this body, who is the indweller in this body. In this chapter, what we are primarily focusing is on the three gunas of Prakriti. This is a very, very broad classification of nature. Nowhere do we find this type of classification in the scientific world. What it says is that the entire nature can be divided into three portions, which is one is called as Sattva, second is called as Rajas, and the third is Tamas. The whole nature, the whole universe. Sattva mainly stands for knowledge. As you all know that our body is made up of two types of organs: organs of knowledge, organs of action. So throughout our life, we are responding to the world, responding to the universe. Daily, we interact with the universe. So through the knowledge of, through the organ of knowledge, which is the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. So through these five sense organs, we have stimuli coming into our body. They all come to the mind. The mind processes the stimuli and then it acts through the organ of action. This is the structure by which our whole life is conducted. The main portion, the main part of this whole structure is the human mind. And it is extremely difficult to understand the human mind. And this chapter reveals some of the secrets of the human mind. We all have a mind, but we don't know what it consists of, how to deal with the mind, because we think that we are the mind. This is a natural phenomena which happens to all human beings, that the jiva in this, that indweller in this body, as Lord Krishna keeps on saying. Now this jiva is attached to the body and mind as if it is the body, it is the mind. For all of us. So throughout our waking state, we live as if we are the body, we are the mind. But here Lord Krishna is teaching us that there is something else. There is an Atma. there is a spiritual side to us which is not connected with the body and mind. That is the secret teaching of the 14th chapter. And towards the end of the chapter, Lord Krishna is going to tell us how I can identify with that Atma and release myself from the identification with the body and mind. In very advanced text of Vedanta, this is the type of discussion which goes on. And at a very high level, they dissect a human thought and say the human thought consists of two things. One is the material aspect, another is the spiritual aspect. And how can I separate the human thought? How can I learn to separate the spiritual part, the Atma in the human thought, with the material part? It all is one composite matter today. But we learn how to divide this mind into three portions and see ourselves something separate than the mind. So that is the exercise we are doing here. And we must note a few things about the mind, that there are different levels in the mind. In Tattva Bodha itself, we discussed four parts of the mind: Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. If you look at these four, Manas means the emotions which we all experience in life. I'm angry, I am sad, I am happy, I am very, very emotional. I get very sensitive to situations. I have fear, I have desires. All these are all emotions. We all have it, and we have to deal with this. Every day we are dealing with it. We have to understand how can I be better in dealing with this portion of the mind. Then the second part is the Buddhi, the intellect. The Buddhi is a very important instrument which the Lord has given us to understand the nature of the world. I can, through knowledge of the scriptures, I can understand. This is called as the Jnana Shakti in the Buddhi. The Jnana Shakti is the faculty by which I can know the mind itself and also the entire universe. Then we have Chitta. Chitta means memory. Memory, the mind, the intellect uses the memory always to understand the past, the present, and the future, in the sense that the memories are impressions which are there, the learning which we have got in the past, in the past few years of our life, what we have learned, our life's experiences, they're all stored in the memory, the good and the bad. So the thought, the intellect uses the memory and then grows. And the last portion is the Ahankara. This is the deepest part of the mind, which says Aham. Aham means I, the ego. And the ego is the doer and enjoyer. It takes the role of I am the doer, I am the enjoyer of all actions. So this is how the structure of the mind is. And by knowing the structure and also now understanding that this whole composite mind which we say how does it function? In what way does it function? There is a climate, internal climate, which is created by the five elements. The subtle body, the mind is formed by the subtle body, the sattvic aspect of the five elements. Tattva people who have studied the Tattva, you will know that the mind consists of mainly the Sattva Guna of the five elements. So what happens is that this human mind goes through three climates: the sattvic state, the rajasic state, and the tamasic state. And it happens very rapidly. Throughout, it can happen in 5 minutes. You can jump from one state to another state very, very rapidly. And it's always changing. The mind is always changing, projecting thoughts, thought after thought after thought throughout the day. And when we try to understand that these three aspects of the mind, the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, the main benefit which we get is threefold. The frequency, this is called as FIR, the frequency of responses, the intensity of responses, and the response time. Frequency means what? Suppose we take one emotion like anger. You can study this in your own self. I become angry once a month, or I become angry 10 times a month. When you understand this chapter, you will realize that your anger comes down drastically, because you start identifying the mind's conditions as something different than you. That is what is called as frequency of responses, frequency of situations, frequency of the emotional disturbances. Then what happens to intensity? Intensity means the anger can be expressed at the body level, it can be expressed at the mind level, or it can be expressed at the verbal level. At three levels it can be expressed. So initially you will be able to control the anger at physical level. You become at the physical level, you don't keep throwing things out. Suppose you become angry, you don't express it very well, you try to control physically. Then mentally, you don't physically become angry, you don't verbally say angry words, but you keep it in your mind. Then you're able to control from physical to the mental level. That means the emotions remain at the mental level, is not expressed. You don't throw tantrums when you're angry. The third level is the verbal level. Verbal level, instead of speaking for 5 minutes or 20 minutes on anger, it comes down to say 5 minutes. So this is the second part, the frequency, intensity, and the third one is the response time. Suppose you become angry, how long this anger remains with you? Does it last for 3 days? You become angry with somebody in the office or somebody at home or your own siblings. Does that anger remain with you for 3 days? Does it remain with you for 1 day? Does it remain with you for 10 minutes? After 10 minutes, you just forget the whole thing, and then you're able to focus on your normal day-to-day actions. So knowing the mind helps us to develop this FIR, frequency, intensity, and response. rapidly in our own mental structure and our responses which we get in the disturbances which we face. With this, I will go to the last week where we stopped. Today we are supposed to start on the 10th verse. And rajas tamascha vibhuyah sattvam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamasattvam rajas tatha. So here in this verse, what Lord Krishna is saying is that the three aspects, the sattva, rajas and tamas, they are constantly changing, and at one time one is predominant, the other two aspects are subservient. Here we are talking about what happens, first of all, when sattva rises. It rises having overpowered the rajas and inertia, tamas. That is one aspect. When that happens, what usually happens is we get jnanam and we get happiness in life. So we are having the three gunas. At one point of time, one guna overtakes the other two gunas. So suddenly you will find in the morning that you are very, very sattvic. What happens to the mind then? It is very happy and it wants to learn things. It wants to go for a walk. It is peaceful. Or in the evening, you would like to go for a walk. The mind is peaceful. You can say that my mind at this moment is sattvic in nature. Then at other times, the rajas can overpower the sattva and inertia. When that happens, passion will be created in the mind. You want to do action. For example, you suddenly feel that you have to go shopping, you have to buy a few things, and you have to achieve a lot of things. You become very ambitious in nature. Those are the qualities of rajas. Rajas means, actually what really happens is the number of thoughts, they increase. Suppose it is 100 thoughts per minute, that is probably, you can call it, say, rajas. If it is 10 thoughts per minute, it is called as sattvic. And if you say there is no thoughts and I want to sleep, that is called as tamas. So the number of thoughts which are flowing, at what speed they are flowing, will determine whether your mind is sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. It's a very, very beautiful way to understand the mind. And this is way, it is not one mind. It is here, the teaching is for all of us, the entire humanity. They have this type of structure. Whatever, all human beings have this type of structure in their mind. That is how Lord Krishna puts it across. Then the third way is, we have seen how sattva predominates with knowledge and happiness. Second is when rajas predominates, passion comes. And the third is what happens when tamasic, when tamo guna predominates, or it overpowers the sattva and rajas. In this case, we are in total delusion. We have confusions in life. So sometimes whenever you feel that, I'm very confused today, I don't know whether I should go for to go and eat outside or see a movie today or not. And this thought keeps on like a pendulum. I want to go, I don't want to go. Yes, I want to go, I don't want to go. That is called as the tamasic nature of the mind at that particular moment. And we must note that all our minds are like this. And the three gunas, they always are in a constant flux. They are at loggerheads with each other. Tamoguna will say, no, I want to sleep. The Rajoguna will say, no, I want to act. And the Sattva Guna will say, no action, no sleeping, I want to learn. So this is the way our life goes on and on and on. The cycle of three gunas and the predominance goes up and down ceaselessly, and it never leaves us with ease. That means what? We are always restless. Right from morning to evening, we will find that something in the body keeps on telling us, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. That is the mind. The organs of knowledge and the organs of action, they are by themselves, they can't do anything. Both of them, they need the mind. Without the mind behind the eyes, you will not be able to focus on a particular aspect. Without the mind behind the ears, you cannot hear properly. So Rajas and Tamas, when they are dominating, what we should do, don't take decisions, and that will be all selfish decisions. And when it is sattvic, when the mind is sattvic, you try to do things which like japa or meditation. So understanding the mind's nature, that means right now, what is my mind? Is it very rajasic? At that time, don't try to take important decisions, because your decisions may not be correct. It may not be the right decisions. Similarly, when tamas, you don't try to do things when your mind is tamasic. When your mind is tamasic, go and rest. So this way, what happens is we are alert in our living. And according to Swami Chinmayananda, he says alert, vigilant living itself is the greatest sadhana one can do. So this particular verse teaches us which guna is dominant at any time. And the teaching is all the three gunas are active all the time, but one becomes dominant and the other two becomes subservient. And at that time, what should we do? That is what this particular verse has taught us. Now the next verse is telling us what are the indications or the lingam by which I can identify that this is the predominant of the guna in my mind. What are the indicators? First, he takes up the sattva guna. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivarda satyamityuta. So how can I recognize that I have a sattvic mind in the morning? Here the Lord says that through every gate of this body, that means through the sense organs, we have got 5 gates of the stimuli from the outer world to reach the mind. When through that 5 sense organs, if the light of intelligence shines, that means all of them are bright. The sense organs, they see properly. The ears, they hear properly. And they all fully functional. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate. That means they are all illumined. They are all, you see, ultimately we know that it is the spiritual light which illumines the mind, and the mind illumines the sense organs. We all know this. In Dakshinamurti Stotram, Nana Chit Gatodarasti Tamaha Deepak Prabhabhaswaram Jnanam Yasyutu Chakshuradi Karana Dwara Bahi Spandate. This is a very important mantra to understand the human mind. And here in this mantra, in the Dakshinamurti, it says that as you assume that there is a light of lamp inside your body. And that lamp, we call it as the lamp of the spiritual light. What happens when you have that light? That light is called as the light of Atma. This light of Atma, first, as soon as the mind wakes up, it says, I know I am. So this light, the spiritual light, is shining in the mind. And then the sense organs, they borrow the light of the mind, and they all wake up. In sleep, for example, what happens? All the sense organs are inert. They are all insentient. They are lying idle. As soon as the mind wakes up, the senses wake up. This must be your experience every day. When you go to sleep, in the morning, when you get up, and what happens? The first thing is, I know I am. That is the light that is the light of the mind. As soon as you get up, yes, I know I am. Then you say, oh, I'm lying here in India, I'm lying in Singapore, I'm lying here in my bedroom. That knowledge comes to us. So that is the ego thought, I thought. And this ego, I thought, remains throughout the day. The energy behind the I thought is from the Atma. This aspect, unless until you are very clear, then only you will be able to control the mind properly. So when the mind wakes up, immediately the light of the Atma spreads to all the sense organs and throughout the body. It pervades. The body becomes functional. The body becomes active. And all the sense organs, jnanam yada tada vidyat, vivridam satyam utyeta. That means all the sense organs are active. They are about to go and absorb whatever is there in the world. This picture here shows like a lamp kept in a pot, and suppose there are 5 holes, and through those 5 holes you see all the light coming out. Similarly, the 5 sense organs which we have are like the 5 holes in a pot through which the spiritual light goes off into the world. Without this Atma, the spiritual light, you cannot experience anything in the world. So it is that Atma light is always ignited. It's always there. It always is shining. What happens is the mind sleeps and the mind wakes up. So the light of consciousness always flows through the mind to the sense organs. Then what happens is we call that as the sattvic mode of the mind. And when this happens, you are alert, vigilant, and you are clear. Early in the morning, most of us are very clear what I have to do throughout the day. So many of us, we make a list of things. I should do 1, 2, 3, 4. You are able to make the list because your mind is sattvic. There are not many, the mind is not agitated, the mind is peaceful. Janati, ichchati, yatate. Janati means the mind knows, ichchati means the mind desires, and yatate means the mind puts the organs of action into motion. It starts putting effort without any delusion. The door of the indriyas, which I said, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and skin, the knowledge is the basis for the perfection in life, which means if I can educate myself through the Bhagavad Gita, that this is the process of knowledge which happens, then my mind will be in control. And any knowledge is nourished by this sattvic guna. So the two indicators, the question was, what are the indicators? The indicators are that I have knowledge and I have sukham. Sukham means I am at ease. These are the two indicators for the sattva guna. Next, we are going to see what are the, these are the ways in which we are trying to understand the nature of the mind. It's a step by step, very, very clearly explained in this chapter. You don't find this type of analysis in any other scriptural literature. And this chapter is the best chapter if you want to know, understand how does the human mind work. What are the indicators which I can use myself to become aware that I should be able to do this, I should not do this at this time. Maybe I should do this tomorrow when my mind is little quieter. So that is the type of teaching which we learn from this chapter. Lobha pravartirarambha karmanam shamaspraha rajasyetani jayante vivirde bharatarshabha. So here we are in this verse, we are studying the indicator for rajoguna. Rajoguna, as I told you, is when the mind, the thoughts are at a super speed. You know, you get the mind is activated, it wants to do actions. And what are the indicators of this? Greed is the first one. Lobha. I want more and more of something. I have 2 houses, I want to buy the 3rd house. It means it is lobha, it is greed, it is the nature of the mind. I am not the mind. You always, in all these verses, you must remember one thing. I am Atma, I am the light of consciousness, I am different than the mind. That is the bottom line of the whole teaching of this 14th chapter. These are the conditions of the mind as per what the situation outside which I face. So one aspect is greed, lobha. The second is pravrti. Pravrti means ceaseless action. I want to work the whole day. I don't even want to go for a lunch break. Even if I go for lunch break, I want to come back to my job at desk. Within 10 minutes, I want to come back. What does it mean? It means your mind is having a rajoguna. Suppose the mind says, I want to go and pray. I want to do japa. I want to do meditation. That is all sattvic guna. The mind is at rest. It enjoys the peaceful nature. That is sattva guna. Here the mind says, I want to use my organs of action non-stop. I want to go and play outside. I want to play tennis. That is rajoguna. I want to run. I want to go for a jog. I want to go for a walk. These are all rajoguna. Arambha karmanam. This is the third indicator. I want to start actions. I want to start a new project. All of us, we do that on the 1st of January of a year. We say, okay, fine. I make a list of resolutions for the whole year. I start a new project. It can be a project in the office. It can be a personal project. It can be an individual project. It can be a family project. So I make a list of things to do for the whole week. For the family, a get together, whatever it is, or going to a temple, all that is all arambha karmana. I want to undertake actions. Then ashamaha means non-ease or ceaseless imaginations of wishing and wanting. I want to do so many things, imaginations, non-stop. And spriha means craving. See, simple desire is acceptable. But when you're craving with desire, that shows it is purely rajoguna at an extreme. And what is the difference between a simple desire and craving? In craving, what happens is you tell yourself, I can't live without that. I can't live without an ice cream tonight. That is craving. It's okay, tomorrow we can postpone it. Today it's raining outside, so I can't go and have ice cream. But then no, in the middle of the rain, you want to jump and go and get that ice cream. That is what is called as craving. I can't live without on that particular moment. These conditions of the mind are nothing but rajoguna. And whenever they are predominant, you must become aware, alert, be vigilant. See, we all have this awareness in us, the light of consciousness. Without the knowledge that I am the Atma, the light behind the mind, without this particular knowledge, we will not be able to bring about a distance with our mind. Internal distance. That is the teaching here. I am Atma, I am the light of consciousness, which is illumining the mind. And the mind has got this condition right now. And let me undertake whatever I have to do, being aware that I have this nature right now. The next verse is tamoguna indicators. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivirde kurunandana. There are 4 signs or indicators when my mind has tamas. Aprakasha. This is the opposite of prakasha. In sattva guna, the sense organs were getting a delight from the objects, from the sense objects. Here in tamoguna, what happens? You say, no, I don't want anything right now. I want to just relax. I want to sleep. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to see a TV. I don't want to listen to music. Aprakasha. The mind will tell you. It is a thought in the mind to an external situation. When these type of thoughts are coming, remember that this is a tamo guna of the mind. The sense organs are not bright. They are dull. You are not able to understand clearly. These are all tamoguna. Laziness, apravartihi. Apravartihi is opposite of pravarti. There you wanted to go and do action in rajoguna. Here it says, no, I am lazy. On a Sunday morning, you want to just relax in the bed for 2 hours more. Say, anyway, I don't have to go to work today. So that is called as tamoguna. Pramadaha. I forget a lot of things in life. I think one, but I think that as something else. I think of something and I think, no, no, this is, it is something else. So knowing anything is a problem, clearly. I don't have a proper memory. I'm not able to connect things when they are going on. In the office, I type wrongly. I forget to do what the job is asking me to do. I forget to make a phone call. A friend wanted me to do something, I forget. Then the friend calls again. These are all tamoguna. Don't blame yourself. When something happens and have not done something, just say my mind was tamasic. You just forgot. And it will again come back, because tomorrow again you will remember, oh, I had to do this. Again you will do it. That's all. So never curse your mind. Always say it is the condition of the mind, and we all have to live with these three conditions of the mind. The the temperaments of the mind, all of us have to live with it. That is the nature of the body. That is the nature of the mind. And it is the nature of the world also. The world also has sattva, rajas, and tamas. If you are able to analyze the sattva, rajas, and tamas in yourself, then you can see, oh, everything in the world has got these three gunas. Once you pick up the technique in yourself, you can observe this in others also. Not only observe in others, you can also observe these type of gunas in the animals, in the plants. You can see the different three gunas. You have cactus, you have different types of plants. Some are very sattvic plants. Trees, for example, sattvic trees. Animals are sattvic. Some animals are rajasic. Some are very tamasic. You can see the entire nature, because this is how the Lord has built this entire creation. Moha, this is the fourth condition of tamoguna. Delusions. You see, sometimes the delusions are imaginary. You think something might go wrong. This is your own imaginations. So we have to be alert. When I am having a delusion, when my mind is having some confusions, become alert that I am right now confused. That itself will solve the problem. Then you will seek help. And you will talk about a problem with somebody. And then clear your mind. Again, you become sattvic. Many a times, misunderstandings are caused in life, in relationships. It's all due to tamoguna. It is a guna of the mind. You see, ultimately, this jiva, like I said, the body is separate. It is a house for the mind to be inside. The mind is the house of the jiva. So you have got three layers. The jiva is sitting inside, the indweller. Then it has got to work with the mind, and the mind has to be in a particular body. And the body has to react with the world. This is our condition. Non-stop, there is a waking, dream, sleep. Waking, dream, sleep is going on as per the nature. So we are in this situation. Now, these are the limitations of the body or the mind. The jiva feels limitless, controlled by the mind. And this is what is called as bondage. I feel limitless. I feel I am not fulfilled in life. I have got so many projects which I have to complete. in my life. These are all buddhi. They are all the thoughts in the mind. They are of a different nature. I have to understand and differentiate what is buddhi, what is mind, and who am I? I am the light of consciousness in which all these thoughts are coming and going. So in conclusion, what we say is the three expressions of the gunas. Sattva is jnanam, that means knowledge and happiness I seek from the world. At that time, it is sattvic guna. When I am forced with ceaseless action, greed, new projects, loss of energy, keep on wanting again and again, in spite of having got something, I keep wanting it, craving for things in life, that's all rajoguna. Dullness, laziness, error, and delusion. Those are the four indicators of tamas. So 2 indicators for sattva, 5 indicators for rajas, and 4 indicators of tamas. This is the dashboard of the human mind. Like a car has got a dashboard which will tell you the fuel capacity, it will tell you the mileage, the speed. So similarly, these are the 3 dashboards for the human mind. And we have to work with this dashboard and then do actions in such a way that I am always peaceful. Sattva, rajas, and tamas is compulsive. Compulsive means we cannot change it. It's not under our control. It is under the control of the 5 elements. It is controlled by the food which we eat. Suppose you eat rajasic food, then you will have a rajasic tendency. Suppose you eat green leaves, vegetables, you will be more sattvic. Suppose you eat onions and things like that, it makes you more tamasic. So even food, you can Google and find out all these details, which is sattvic food, rajasic food, tamasic food. So many details are available in the net. But food is one of the main aspects of keeping the mind under control. Sometimes that is why we say that you take a vritam. You say today, every week, I will not eat in the evening for one time. I will skip my dinner. That is the control of the food, the intake of the food, also trying to build a willpower. The mind, willpower is a part of the mind. It can be controlled. That means you're using a willpower and trying to increase that willpower. So we must note that the 3 gunas together are called as maya. Many times we come across maya in our study of the scriptural texts. That word maya stands for a combination of sattva plus rajas plus tamas. And maya also stands, when all these 3 are in operation, what we say is, it is an ignorant state of the mind. It is ignorant about the spiritual ignorance. Does not know the mind when it is with the 3 gunas. It does not know the power behind the mind, which is under the control. Therefore, we say that this mind is under control of Ishvara. That Ishvara is nothing else but the spiritual light. It is in this light of consciousness the mind comes and plays around and then again goes back. Again it comes and again it goes back. So the jiva has 2 choices. The one is it identifies with the 3 gunas or it doesn't identify with the 3 gunas. when it does not identify with the three gunas, we call this type of living as binary format. Binary format means that format by which a jnani lives throughout his life. He knows I am Atma very, very clear. I am the light of consciousness. And therefore, he is not identified. Throughout the day, he's got only one thought. I am this pure light. I am this pure light. The three gunas do not disturb him. Even if they come, they just come and they just come for a fleeting few seconds and then they leave him. The three gunas get activated when the jiva identifies with the three gunas. So our job is twofold. I have to be, first of all, I have to become aware that the three gunas exist. Then I should be able to, the second job is to be the light of consciousness and try to learn to slowly reduce the gunas, impact of the gunas in the mind. So the second side, the first side I explained to you is when you stop identifying or you reduce your identification with the three gunas as you, as yourself. Because today we think that the mind is me. That is what is the right hand side. You're totally identified with the gunas. And when you're totally identified with the gunas, there is another way to deal with it. So so first portion is you stop identifying. The second is what? How do you start controlling the gunas? You identify, you say, okay, right now it is like this. My mind is in this fashion. My mind is rajasic. What we have to say is, now this mind is not me, but it is a vibhuti, a glory of the Lord, the glory of the Creator. It is the Creator expressing himself as this world. That's what we studied in the 10th and 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. For all those of you who have gone through the Gita, in the 10th and 11th chapter, the Lord says, I am the whole universe. Therefore, what? This mind is also the Lord, and therefore I learn to see this as one of the aspects of the creation. So I am in a triangular format of living. That means I am the jiva, there is a creator who is the Lord, and I am experiencing the world. So jiva, jagat, ishvara. This is how all of us start. Slowly we learn about the three gunas. Then we say the three gunas belong to the creation itself through the study of the 10th and 11th chapter. And then we say, I will try to control this and slowly stop identifying with it. So when we are with the gunas as our own self, it is the ego. I am the three gunas. This is how an ajnani conducts the life. That means, suppose you don't know the chapter 14 of the Gita. You will never come across anybody, a friend of you coming and calling you and say, do you know how your mind works? No, he will not come in. So then you are called as an ignorant person. So ignorant person will always think that he is the mind. And he will never know how to, he will think that that is what is life. Like most of us, if we don't come to the study and analyze and learn the mind in this particular way, we will be ignorant about ourselves, being the light of consciousness and not the mind. So in short, the play of gunas is our non-stop mind. The three gunas continuously playing around in the world And what happens is, it is the gunas in our mind are playing with the gunas in the world outside. See, this is what we have learned in the previous chapters of chapter 3, 4, and 5. If the sense organs, they interact with the sense objects, because the sense organs are also made up of three gunas. The sense objects are also made of three gunas. It is an interaction which is taking place in matter. In the field of kshetram, in the field of matter, these interactions are happening. I am a witness to these three gunas. And each of these gunas, they have, at one time or the other, they have a predominance. I learn to understand the predominance of the gunas and try to be alert. The gunas have effect on our present life and also in our future embodiment. This is what we learn from the Bhagavad Gita. There is no other proof. Why the three gunas, how they in the three gunas in the mind, how does it take the shape of a new body in the next birth? That comes only from the Bhagavad Gita. So the next topic what we are going to discuss is, during death, if somebody has got more sattva in his mind, what type of body he will take in the next birth? That is the topic which we are going to go through. This is a new topic. We have seen so far that there are three gunas. There are certain indicators for the three gunas. I have to be alert, and then I have to slowly try to come out of the gunas, reduce the gunas impact in my life, become more and more sattvic guna. That is what we have learned so far. And now we are going to study how these gunas have an impact in future lives. The impact comes by way of a gati. Gati means travel after death. Now, this is a common belief that this body we leave here, and then the mind travels and takes another body. Sattva guna, if it is predominant, then you go to higher lokas. If you are rajas, then you go to the middle lokas. If you are tama guna, you go to the lower lokas. This is a nutshell. In a nutshell, this is the cosmic law of the state of mind at the time of death. It's an automatic expression. It is not under our control. There is no willing or wishing involved at the time. This naturally happens. The last thought which we have indicates where we will go into the next birth. Sometimes the last thought may be different. It may not be. In the chapter 8, we have seen, if you have the last thought as Om, then you will be reaching and you will get freedom from the three gunas. Yam yam vyapi smaran bhavam tyajan yante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. This is the verse I was quoting to you, 8th chapter, the 6th verse. Whoever leaves thinking about me, O Kaunteya, he will reach me. That's what the Lord said in the 8th chapter. The last moment is a test, indication of what we have been dealing with throughout our life. So what we are going to study is how to develop, suppose we are, this is only an information. it is only telling us if you are having these type of gunas, this is how you will get, this is the type of births which you will get. Higher lokas. So first we will go through the sattva guna. Yada sattve pravardetu pralayam yati deh brit tadotma vividan lokan amalan pratipatyate. So when sattva is predominant, then what the Gita says is that you will go to the highest guna, highest world, Brahmaloka, Satyaloka. These are all the highest worlds. The realized people, suppose you have realized, I am not the three gunas, I am not the body or mind, I am the light behind this whole universe. Then there is no rebirth for you. But if you feel that I have to do things in life, I have to do this, I have to do that, that is what is called as rajas. I need to do so many things. Then you will be born in another world. So there are different types of worlds designed for different minds. Brahmaloka and Satyaloka is for the worshippers. For those people who are meditating, Tapoloka, Janoloka, Mahaloka, this is what is coming from the Bhagavatam, and it comes from the scriptures. So in certain words, you can get freedom also. That is what is called as Krama Mukti, which we have seen in the 8th chapter. Then there are middle lokas, Suvaloka, Bhuvaloka, Bhulokas. This particular earth, the Bhuloka, is a place where it's a mixture of both Sattva and Rajas and Tamas. Suppose you have equal proportion, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, you will be born here in this world. So based on the upasana and the different types of activities which you have done in life, like rituals, there are some people who have done a lot of rituals. They will be born in the higher lokas, but they will enjoy and then come back again to this loka only because they don't have knowledge. In different lokas, what it means is that the level of our happiness goes up or down. That's all. In the Bhagavatam, there are different levels of worship of the Lord, which is mentioned: Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, and Sayujya. These are 4 levels of worship or devotion. And this happens in different lokas. In different lokas, suppose you go to Vaikuntha or Shiva Loka, they say that you are living in the same world as the Lord. That is called as Salokya. That means you have done enough of punyam in this life and you reach this type of loka. Samipya means, this is just for information, Samipya means that you are enjoying the presence of the deities nearby. That means you are very near the God in those lokas. Sarupya means your form also changes because your mind keeps on thinking of that. Sarupya means your rupa of the mind change is as per the rupa of that particular Lord. Even in this world, you will find that suppose somebody has meditated a lot on certain Devi or on any particular God, you will find that those characteristics of those Devis or something will come to that person. That is called as Sarupya. Sayujya means what? You have become one with the Lord. These are the different types of devotions which happen, and these are the different types in different lokas. Sattvic, main thing which we must understand is Sattva Guna people, they reach higher lokas. The Rajoguna people go to middle lokas and the Tamoguna go to lower lokas. This particular verse, the 15th verse, talks about the Rajoguna people, and it says Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tatha pralinas tamasi modhayonishu jayate. Suppose a person during his life, he has been not able to control the Rajoguna. He has been able to just live a life of Rajoguna. Then what happens to him? He is attached to action. That means he will go to the middle lokas where you will get more action. And if a person is tamogona, then he will be born in womb of senseless animals and creatures, lower lokas. So rajoguna, you are associated with lots of action. So you will come back in this world itself, you will come back and keep doing a lot of action. Punyam, papam actions. But the thing is that when you have more action, the sorrow will be more. Tamas means ignorant and dull. And basically it is ignorance, complete ignorance about the spiritual aspect. And then you are born as a bird or a fish. This is what the Bhagavad Gita says. The more our understanding about our conscious nature, the better we are in this world itself. That is why the study of Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. I learned to understand my own nature. So the three gunas and their benefit is what we are going to take next. We have studied what happens to the gati. Gati means the travel after death. Next, what in the 16th and 17th verse, we are going to study what is the benefit of sattva guna. That means you will get punyam and knowledge. Rajoguna, the benefit is, the fruit of Rajoguna is dukkham, sorrow and greed. And Tamoguna, the benefit of Tamoguna is ajnanam and moha. This is the result of Tamoguna. Karmanas krutas yahuhu sattvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasa phalam. This puts in a nutshell what is the fruit of our actions as per the gunas. The sattvic fruit is higher embodiments, pure mind, spotless nirmal. Nirmal means blemishless. You are very, very clear, clarity of thought. You will do with the clarity of thought, what will happen to you? You will do a lot of noble actions, good actions. The result of these actions are free from sorrow and delusion. So this is the sattvic fruit of sattva guna. What happens to the rajoguna? What are the fruits of action of rajasic people? They are born into the same human world. Again, they go through pain and suffering. They keep on doing selfish actions. And tamoguna people, they are mudha yonis. That means they are totally ignorant. They do ignoble actions and they are unrighteous. It is the nature, prakriti, which prompts thoughts and actions. We must be very clear. It is the nature. It is not me. I am the consciousness. I am the pure light in which all this is happening. The action and thoughts are connected because of the light of consciousness. This is how I should understand. I am the pure light of consciousness. I am the awareness principle. Sattva sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada moho tamasaha bhavato jnanam evacha. I'm going through a little bit at a rapid pace because these are just information for us. We have learned What are the main characteristics? How they affect us, how I can be alert by knowing the gunas. That is the main portion of this chapter. Here the summary is given. Not the summary is what in Sattva Guna it is we do dharmic actions and knowledge arises. In Rajoguna we do selfish action and greed arises. In Tamoguna there is delusion and ignorance. Just remember these two words, you will be very clear about all these three aspects of the three gunas. These indicators help us a lot to control the mind, give proper direction to the mind, change the direction, change our way of living, and so on. The Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, the chain binds you to different embodiments from which it is difficult to escape. Because that is the nature of the five elements. That is the nature of this world. See, that we find animals in this world. Why are they animals and why are they not human? Is because of the guna in their mind. They are tamasic. In the same, we find living beings in the form of plants and trees. Again, it is the nature of the mind. Gunas. In the world of human beings, you will find a total variety of this combination of the three, which tells us how each one can be so different. It is these three gunas which completely give variety to the entire universe. Sattva sanjayate jnanam, this we have seen. Rajaso lobha evacha, pramoda moho tamasa, bhavato jnanam evacha. This we have seen, the three different predominance of the three gunas, what type of mind we get in the next physical body. Sattva goes to higher lokas, Rajas goes to middle lokas, the tamasic go to the lower lokas. The vasanas, they determine what type of mind we predominantly get in a particular body. Vasanas, they determine the thoughts which come to us. And the thoughts determine our actions. And the actions determine our future births. See how the whole creation is. That is why in the BMI chart, we have the vasanas in the top. Under vasanas only, under Om, you have vasanas. Under vasanas, you have the BMI, and then the PFT, and then the OET. For those of you who have studied the BMI chart with me, I'm just reminding you. Sattva gives better vision, buddhi and dhriti. Now this chapter is the seed for the 17th and 18th chapter. In the 17th chapter, we are going to study the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas for 4 aspects of our life. Shraddha, Yajna, Dana and Tapaha. In the 17th chapter. I'm just telling you how this Sattva, Rajas and Tamas is going to continue in our future study also. In the 18th chapter, it will tell us why I am a sattvic doer or a rajasic doer of action. Again, they will go into the depth of the study of the human mind. In these 2 chapters, again, the 3 aspects will be studied in depth. What are the 3 types of actions? What are the 3 types of knowledge? What are the 3 types of buddhi or fortitude? What are the 3 types of happiness? So there are 10 factors which are analyzed in the Bhagavad Gita. 4 in chapter 17 and 6 in chapter 18. Chapter 15 and 16, the next 2 chapters which we'll do, the 15th chapter is again Jnana Yoga. It is nothing to do with the gunas. It is going to teach us again how to look at the whole universe. And the 16th chapter is all the good qualities which we can have and all the bad qualities which we have. It's a complete analysis of the good and the bad qualities in the mind. So you can see how, as we grow in this Bhagavad Gita, we are going to study more and more about our own minds. How do they act in the world? How I can learn to change that and become more and more sattvic. That is what we are going to study. In this chapter, the next topic for us is how do I get rid of ignorance about Atma, which is the cause of the identification with the three gunas. Very, very beautiful section. We will take it up next week. We'll start from this particular slide. What is a guna tita? How do I get freedom from the bondage of the three gunas? Like I said in the earlier, that we are all bound to our nature. Bound to our nature means what? We are bound to the mind. And the mind has got these three gunas. How do I come out of these three gunas? And what happens when I'm free from the three gunas? This is the topic which we will do next week. Very beautiful section. This is a similar section of how the Sthita Prajna of the second chapter. How do I become more and more pure in my mind? This is the same of what we have learned in the Jnana portion of chapter 13. How do I become a Purusha? So let's start with this slide next week. And then we will see how to go into the next chapter, which is a very beautiful chapter, the last chapter in Jnana Yoga section. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So I hope you have got some idea about how to look at our own mind. It's a very beautiful chapter. Go through these verses, mainly the characteristics of the three gunas, and apply this in our day-to-day life. Unless until you apply this knowledge, because this can be applied. This is the most practical chapter in the whole Bhagavad Gita. It tells us how to deal with my mind. When my mind is rajasic or active, I should learn and be alert and say, okay, now I should not carry on with this rajas for too long. Or when I have tamasic characteristics in the mind, I should move from tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva. Okay, let's see if you have any questions in the chat box. Okay, there are some questions here. How is emotions conceived in Vedanta? Is emotion an expression of desire? And desire is generated by the ego. In other words, the ajnanam, deluded mind, forever intensifies the desire and, of course, drives us nuts with Okay, restlessness. Okay. So the first question you should be, what he is basically asking is, what is the, why does the mind have all these emotions? The emotions are a part and parcel of the mind which has got ajnana. What you have clearly said, the starting point is, I don't know myself. I don't know that I am the pure light of consciousness. I am the Atma. If I know that, then the mind will be clear throughout the day and you will live a very alert living. Emotions will not disturb you. This emotion, this ajnanam creates the ego to thrive with desires in life. I, the jiva, start imagining that I will be happy only if I have objects in the world. I will get happiness from relationships. I will get happiness by accumulating some things in life. So the ajnanam, so our root is ajnanam, our root is ignorance. You have identified very clearly. I'm very happy that this is the root that leads to desire. Desire leads to more emotions and it causes havoc in life. Emotions are good, but they should be balanced. A mother's emotion for her child is a positive emotion. There is no problem in that. Only when they become negative, when they start affecting you, then that is a cause of disturbance. Yeah, go ahead. How are you? I can't hear you. I will ask Shanmugam to. Yeah, go ahead.
Hari Om.
Yeah, Hari Om. Tell me, how are you?
I know your troubles are back. I'm back.
Yes.
So yeah. So I'm so happy that I'm here for this particular chapter. You know, I have missed quite a lot, but I will try and catch up. So I'm right here in the middle of the most, as you said, very practical chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. The question is, do we understand, if I say I'm a very emotional person, does it mean I am more rajasic, is what I want to know.
Emotional people, yes, you are right. It is rajasic because the thoughts are running very rapidly in your mind. Absolutely. Definitely, it is a sign of rajas.
Right. The desire to know more, is that also a lobha in the classification of lobha? You know, you said rajas is one of the characteristics.
Indeed, yeah, lobha, yes.
So
yes.
This desire to know not only spiritual knowledge, but also material, you know, like what's happening in advances in science, what's happening in the knowledge of philosophy or psychology or whatever. Is that a rajas or is it a component of sattva? The
No,
desire to know.
it is also rajas, but it is the good part of rajas. See, all those gunas have got the positive and the negative. Mm-hmm. So there is for example, rajoguna, if you are angry and you're able to control your anger to get a thing done, that is a positive anger. So similarly, if you are using the rajoguna to build up more and more knowledge, you're moving in the right direction for sattva guna. From rajoguna, you can go in the negative and you can go down and down.
Say, for example, they're just having the desire to liberate, because what I realize is that you're actually trapped in your own mind, which
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
Now, the only way to be out is increasingly, I have no difficulty in understanding that the more identification with my Atman, my true nature,
Yeah.
and less with my anatman nature is my liberation. There is no
That's correct.
problem in that.
Yes.
But there is that little time thing, you know, as if you're bound by time alone,
Yes.
you know, that you cannot make a dash, you know.
I agree with you. You see, you are not able to immediately move out of your gunas and get into sattva and get into a pure state. You're not, nobody is able to do it.
So is that I'm bound by my
Yes,
prarabdha?
that is where your bondage comes. This is exactly your bondage. That I am bound by these three gunas in this body. They are tying me down to this body.
So
The
how?
moment I get up in the morning, I am tied to these gunas. They are pushing me to action. They are pushing me into. I want to be at peace with my own nature, which is my pure, peaceful nature, which is Atma.
So
But
this
they are disturbing me. They are making me restless.
So this restlessness, is it, I have to just live with it? I just accept it? I mean,
Yes.
there
Yes.
is no way
Yeah.
I can think of jumping out of my skin almost.
The only way is to learn more and more about the Atma.
So
That is
that's
why
the,
we do Shravanam of Upanishads. You see, the more the Upanishads teach us that this is your nature, this is your nature, different Upanishads keep telling us that this is how you should realize your Atma. What
the
happens is, that is why the Shravanam is important.
yeah.
That Shravanam will lead to will lead to contemplation.
Okay.
Your mind will start dwelling on the scriptures, and when you start dwelling on the scriptures, you are moving from rajoguna to sattvaguna.
Can I assume that there is definitely some sattva guna which is influencing me, because otherwise I shouldn't even be here for your class?
Yes, that's correct. Definitely the sattvaguna is pushing you towards this knowledge of Atma. Is like I said, you can have the knowledge. Nobody says that after you come to Atma, you should forget about medical sciences and forget about you. You can still continue. But the only thing is that whatever has been disturbing to you will not be disturbing anymore.
So it's okay still to
Yes,
pursue.
100% it's fine. You have
Within,
you can go after any knowledge.
okay.
You know, knowledge of physics, knowledge of biomedicine, you can knowledge of computer science, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
I
That
can't
will,
put a delete to it.
yes, you know why it does not? Why it does not affect us? Because ultimately Atma is asangaha. It has got no connection with the body and mind.
Right.
To understand that the Atma has no connection, I have to understand the three gunas. The moment I understand the three gunas perfectly well, you yourself will say that I am the pure Atma, because that has got nothing to do with the three gunas.
So just the last, very last. So the rajas is very much emotional.
Yes.
So because you have people who are either rational, like yourself, you definitely have a very rational mind. So you are more onto the intellect. So in
Yes.
the BMI chart,
Yes.
you're more into the intellect.
Correct.
While I'm still very much within the grips of the emotional, and hence the rajas and all of that.
That's correct. See,
Yeah.
what this chapter is teaching us is, we cannot, till the end of our life, these three gunas will be there.
Right.
We have to live with the three gunas. There is no escape.
Right.
What it says is, you will be able to handle the three gunas if you are sitting at the core of your personality, which is the Atma.
Right.
If
So
you are
it's just,
able to sit in that core and then handle the three gunas, it is easy.
okay.
But if you are not even aware of the core, then what happens is you become one with the three gunas, and then you are trying to understand, and you are in samsara.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah.
What guna should we try to emulate or learn to be? Sattva guna. All of us have to just, in the whole Bhagavad Gita, there are 10 factors which we'll be analyzing. Always keep looking at the Sattva guna aspect in all the 10 factors and move towards the Sattva guna of different aspects which we will learn.
But I asked that question. I'm Rohini.
Yeah,
I asked the question. But we can't change, right? In the gunas, we can't change, you said.
no,
We have to stick to the same guna that we are born with.
no. You see,
No?
that is for those people who have not come to the spiritual science.
Ah, okay.
The moment you have come to the spiritual study of the Bhagavad Gita,
Yes.
means that you have control over your gunas.
Okay. That's good.
If
Thank
you are
you.
not studied the Bhagavad Gita, there is no way you will just be like a normal person. You will just assume that this is what is life.
This chapter was very good, really.
Very good.
And
It's very practical, and
your lecture was so good and clear.
Very good.
I think
Excellent.
it was the first time I really understood everything.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Because it deals with the thoughts. You see, this chapter deals with the thoughts in the mind. And even if you learn this chapter, 5% of the knowledge has gone to you, you will see the benefit. Even 5% of this chapter, if you have understood, you will start seeing the benefit. And the benefit is what? You will start seeing, you will start having a distance between you and the mind. You will start creating the space. I am the awareness. I am the awareness. This is the mind which is disturbed. This disturbance will go away. I don't have to do anything. By normal process of the nature itself, this disturbance will go away.
Yeah.
I just remain in my nature of Atma. I am an awareness, vigilant, light of consciousness. I am not the mind. That you must keep on remembering every single day.
That's a difficult one, yeah.
Every day, remember this. Throughout your life, remember this one point. I am not the mind. I am the Sakshi. I am the illuminator of the mind. This is the nature of the world of 5 elements of the body. The body is just a house for the mind. And in that mind, I am the indweller in that mind. I have to come out of that mind and free myself from the gunas. The moment I learn to free myself by the knowledge of Atma, I am a free person. I am not going to be disturbed at any time with anything in life, because ultimately all disturbances from the world come to my mind, and my mind is the thing which disturbs me. And I create the space between me and the mind. The more space I create, the more liberated I will feel.
Yeah. I just wanted to share with everybody, sorry again to interrupt, just wanted to share with everybody, I'm going to do a takeaway from your talk today, page 52. You know, I made a note of it. I will print it out. Well, because that's on an awareness level. So it's almost like I will further kind of try and do, you know, a template by which you can actually objectively say what your mind has done for the day. You know, at the end of the day, I want to give, you know, a score of 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, and just see, I have to try and, you know, make, you know, as to how I can actually fit that from that page 52.
That's a very beautiful thing. If you're able to do it, it's fantastic. You see, normally they say that if you can keep a chart for yourself,
yes,
you know, and say that, you know, I was disturbed today. How many times in the month have you been disturbed? Put a tick.
I want to steal. I'm sure you've got the chart. Why don't you share it? I want to steal from you.
No, you see, how many times have you become more greedy about something? You know, you put a
Okay.
tick. You know, you put 5 characteristics of your problems,
Okay.
and then you watch how it happens for 1 month and see whether it is getting reduced slowly. You will find 100% you will find a result. The
Wow.
moment you have become aware, the moment you become aware of the states of your mind, you will change.
You have given me a prescription today. I'll do that.
Okay. You are a doctor, so you'll know.
Yeah, I know. I need prescription. This is how my mind works. Give me a prescription and I'll do it.
Okay.
But without that, I can't
But
do it.
don't clutter it with too many factors. Just put only 5 factors. That's all.
I think I'll make one and then ask you to.
Yeah, you share it with me. I can tell you which one to drop and which one to keep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then there is very interesting and explained by you very, okay, it's a practical topic. Yeah, this is a question, knowing that I am not the real doer, but only an instrument and I'm under control of Prakriti will make me less rajasic. Yes. So Uma, you're right. You know, what it means is the more you feel that it is, mind is an instrument. That is a very big that's a very big benefit you have from the teaching itself. The body is an instrument, the mind is an instrument. I am just a indweller. I am in this body. God has given me this body, and this mind is not under my control. It is under the control of Prakriti, which you have very, very clearly said. These are very good recollections of what you have learned in this chapter. I'm very, very happy that you're able to apply this application. So what you're saying is, yes, will this make me less rajasic? Yes, 100% it will make you less rajasic. Because like I said, being aware, I'm telling you, just being aware and alert about the 3 gunas will give you tremendous benefit. Tremendous. You will see the benefit yourself. I'm alert. My mind is today right now disturbed. Let me just come back to this after some time. You'll find that you're under balance. Suppose you're committing too many mistakes, you're deluded by something. Because situations outside are not under our control. These are thrown at us. The situations and are thrown into our mind, and the mind is reacting. In this, the only solution is I try to distance myself from the mind. I say, I am the Sakshi. I am the witness of the mind. Without me being present, the mind will neither be there or neither the world will be there. Like in sleep, I am there, but there is no mind. Therefore, there are no disturbances. In waking, what happens is the disturbances are causing. There is a law of nature which is happening, the law of karma. I have to deal with the law of karma. That's all I can do. I be in my core of the personality, like I repeat again and again. I remain in my core. I remain in my pure consciousness state. From there, I operate. Every day, make it a resolution. I am not going to operate with my mind taken over. Most of us, without this knowledge of Atma, are taken over by the mind. They live a life of the mind and not their own, what they want to live.
Yes, Shekharji, we are dragged by our mind.
Yes, it's a natural process which is happening in the world because of the body. The mind is also made up of the food which we eat. It is 5 elements, that's all. The food we eat, the previous vasanas, impressions which are there, all that is not under my control. I can only realize that this is all nature. I am not this, but I am something other than this. I am the illuminator of this. I am the consciousness. That gives me the freedom from the bondage of the tyranny of the mind. And all of us face this. And many of us who do not come to the Bhagavad Gita, they are lost in this world. Totally lost. Even in marriage, people are lost because they get into emotional problems. Every day there are fights at home. Every day there are fights in the office, only because they don't know that they are not the mind, and the mind is just reacting. It's reacting to certain situations outside, but I will not be a reactive mind. I will be a deliberate mind. I will change. Instead of being instinctive and saying, okay, I will not do this. I will deliberate. I will say, this is my response. It will be a deliberate response, not an instinctive response.
Okay, Shekji, thank you. I got it.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Any other question?
One
Yeah,
question.
Jacqueline.
How does this relate to nothing or no mind?
Oh, no mind. That is another way of looking at the whole scenario. You see, when you say that there is nothing, what you're saying is this mind is mithya. It is something which is only an appearance. It is just an appearance. It will come and go. But in the consciousness, I am always alert. When you say nothing, it means, do you want to expand on this nothing?
No, I thought nothing is like the consciousness is there illuminating.
Yes.
So maybe it's the mind that is nothing, you know. Yeah, I'm not sure how to relate, you know.
Yeah, you see, ultimately the way you relate is that in consciousness, the mind does not exist. That is the way, that is the final knowledge. You are going to learn about this in the next class, in the next session. What do you mean by guna atita? Guna atita means a person who wants to be free from the gunas. How will he be? In his view, I am the light of consciousness. The mind, the body, the world is only an appearance, like in the TV screen you see the movie, right? So the whole waking state is nothing but it is a movie going on. And I am the light of consciousness. I am eternal. Very important point is I am always there. In waking, in the sleep, in the dream, I am always there as the pure light. These three things, our body, mind, world, is just coming and going, coming and going. So your shift will be, I am the pure consciousness. This when it happens, you will find tremendous peace in your life. Tremendous peace. The peace of Atma is incomparable. Incomparable. You will find I'm full of bliss. I'm full of energy. Never am I sorrowful in life, because you have that knowledge. The knowledge of Atma is very, very powerful.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, learning from you, hope to be liberated as soon as possible.
No worry. You attend the next class, you will be liberated at the end of next class. Please come.
All right. No, just for Shama, I was just like asking Mr. Shekhar, has Shama been liberated, because we have not heard from her, and then now I hear from you. Okay, good.
So she went to the heaven and came back. That's all.
Jacqueline, you are absolutely amazing. I do not know. I just don't know Jacqueline, but there is some kind of a connection which I have. And probably it's an Atman level, you know. Yeah, I do have. Jacqueline,
Okay,
I love
good.
you.
Good.
I love you.
Same here.
So use my own traits, rajas, to help myself in my journey towards moksha, energy through the gain to knowledge. And yes, you're right. So that's fine, Shama. That's the right approach.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, let's continue our journey to understand our mind better in the next class, in the next session. We are going to see how to be free from the mind. Next week, we are going to understand what it means to be free. Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Go ahead, Babuji.
Quite some time back, there was question answered by a devotee to the Guru by saying that can the butcher be liberated?
Can?
Butcher.
A butcher.
Yeah.
Will he get liberation?
Can a butcher be liberated?
Yes.
Yeah, he can be. Yeah, as long as he takes himself to be, I'm not the doer of action. He is not a butcher, right? He is a pure light of consciousness. That what work he is doing is because of his previous vasanas. That's all.
Because there was, I think, in the Gita or somewhere I heard that
you can have. You see,
Brahmana's son was sent to a butcher to learn something.
Yeah.
Very famous.
You can learn. You see, as long as you say, I am not a doer of any action, it is Prakriti which is doing the action. It is nature which is doing the action. In my light of consciousness, these things are happening. Anybody can be liberated because this is the knowledge. You see, it's a very, very, and what happens is a day comes when your own conscience will tell you that the whole world is coming and going in me, the consciousness. This will happen to you.
So that means
knowledge, what you are hearing in the Gita and the Upanishads, when you get up in the morning, your own conscience will repeat that lesson. A day will come when this knowledge has got deep inside you. Your own conscience will tell you, I am that light of consciousness. It will happen because comes by repeated listening. So whether you're a butcher, whether you are, you can be a drunkard, you can change. You can change. You see, Veda Vyasa, he was a dacoit. He changed completely because of the knowledge. Anybody can change. That is why three gunas is something we must know. I can come out of it. I can not only change from tamoguna to rajoguna, from rajoguna to sattva guna. I also have a faculty by which I can come out of this samsara. Good question.
So that means we must know that we are just the seer only.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
You're right.
But you are doing your daily karma.
That's it. It's a karma of anybody. See, a doctor does surgery. A policeman, catches thieves. Army general keeps on killing people on the front line. These are all karmas which are happening because of the previous births. The law of karma is very clear. You have done something in the past. Your body will keep doing it. That's all. But you are something separate than the body. That is the most important.
You are just the seer.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you and good night. Thank you.